Hummingbirds are one of the most fascinating birds in nature. They're only a few inches long, but hummingbirds flap their wings so fast they create an actual humming sound that gives them their name. These little birds are stunning creatures who make the environment, and your garden, a much brighter place. A hummer is not only a disconcertingly large personal vehicle seen on the road, but also a colloquial way birders use to refer to their hummingbird coteries. "I saw my hummers today" would be an appropriate way to describe your regular visitors. Hummingbirds choose their favorite locations based on geography, as well as a combination of natural nectar sources and well-placed feeders. These smart birds can remember every flower and feeder they've visited, as well as how long it takes for a certain flower to refill. In terms of migratory feats, hummers go the farthest of any bird in proportion to body length. For a 2.5-inch hummingbird, the few thousand miles traveled between breeding grounds and winter habitats is positively huge. The rufous hummingbird has the longest migration of any hummingbird species. Their annual trek covers more than 3,000 miles from Alaska and Canada to southern Mexico. Some ruby-throated hummingbirds fly 500 miles non-stop across the Gulf of Mexico during both spring and fall migrations. Others will stick to the coast and travel the longer route down the edge of Texas instead. Hummers are diurnal, meaning most are awake during the day and sleep at night. That being said, these special birds can migrate regardless of the time of day. There are over 350 known hummingbird species. And they are all either in North or South America. They love sugar. Hummingbirds go straight for the glucose. They can eat more than twice their body weight daily, visiting 100 or more flowers to do so. Because of their economical proportions and an incredibly high metabolism, these excellent pollinators can't store fat like warblers and other small birds. Don't add dye to their food. Natural nectar is clear, so it's not a necessary ingredient, and there's some debate over whether food coloring could harm birds. To refill your bird feeder, make your own sugar water by boiling 4 parts water mixed with 1 part refined white sugar. Dyeing instead of buying ensures no added colors or chemicals. Other sweeteners like honey and brown sugar go rancid faster and can make hummingbirds sick. It's a myth that hummingbirds will only feed on red flowers. Bird feeders should be cleaned thoroughly every week with a vinegar water solution, a task that can become quite time-consuming. Because of their quickness and the shape of their beaks, which act like spring-loaded sets of chopsticks, hummingbirds can snatch insects right out of the air. If you want to attract hummingbirds to your yard, plant different types of blooms that flower during the entire period when hummers may appear. Landscaping with native species serves both the birds and the ecosystem. They visit 1,000 flowers each day. And they consume 5 to 8 doses of nectar per hour. They prefer natural nectar to feeders. Natural nectar is the key to a healthy diet for these birds, so they'll always prioritize a good flower over a feeder. Their brains are pretty heavy compared to the rest of their bodies. A hummingbird's brain makes up around 4.2% of its body weight. This is the most in the entire wild bird group. Despite their name, they don't necessarily hum. Hummers don't produce musical sound. It's more of a chatter. Some species even make these sounds with their tail feathers. Hummers can really sleep. Hummingbirds have an evolutionary adaptation that benefits them during cold nights. Torpor is a deep sleep similar to hibernation in which the metabolic rate drops as much as 95%. This lowers the body temperature so much that a torpid hummingbird maintains a hypothermic threshold that nears death. It takes them 20 minutes to an hour to wake up from this state. People mistakenly worry about the cold when it comes to hummers, but it actually doesn't pose much of a risk. Some hummingbirds breed in the Andes, where temperatures drop well below freezing. Come fall or winter, the food supply is the limiting factor, not the temperature. Hummers beat their wings thousands of times per minute. Averaging about 50 times per second, hummers redefine the laws of flight. They hover over their food instead of landing. In fact, 25 to 30% of a hummingbird's weight is in its pectoral muscles. Their near-invisible wings can propel them forward, backward, and upside down. They can't use their feet to walk or hop. They can, however, use their feet, which evolved to become lighter over time, to slide sideways while perched on a branch. They also use them for bathing and itching. Their hearts thump up to 1,260 times per minute. Relative to body size, this is, again, the most in nature. A hummer must stay in a nearly constant state of motion in order to survive. They breathe extremely quickly. They take about 150 breaths per minute. Their tongues have a groove in the shape of a W. This helps them lap up nectar easier, almost like a cat. Their tongues have tiny hairs on them. It's a total myth that hummers sip nectar through a straw-like tongue. They actually flick their tongue 18 times per second, collecting the nectar and pulling it into their mouths. The hair-like extensions help make the process easier. Their nests are super small. Keep a close eye out for hummingbird nests, because they won't be easy to spot. The average size is about the same as a $50 coin. Their eggs are even smaller. Hummers produce the smallest eggs in the world. They each weigh less than 1/50th an ounce, and are often compared to the size of a jelly bean. They use a surprising material for building nests. Hummers use spider webs to help bind their nests together. The rest of the structure is mostly made from lichen and moss. Their throat colors aren't due to pigmentation. The vivid hues on their throats are caused by many factors, including light level, moisture, and angle of viewing. They have incredible vision. Hummers see in ultraviolet light, and can see much further than humans. They have a sense of smell too. Contrary to popular belief, hummers can smell the environment around them just a little bit. They mainly use it to detect danger or predators lurking near flowers they're hoping to collect nectar from. Their average lifespan is about 3 to 5 years. Other factors like species, habitat conditions, and predators can play a role in it. There have been instances where a hummer has lived much longer than 5 years as well. Hummers have a cool nickname. They are often called flying jewels. This nickname started back when Spanish explorers visited the Americas for the first time and were wowed by the bird's vibrant colors. A group of hummers is called a charm. They may also be referred to as a bouquet, shimmer, or glittering. The perfect names for such small and unique birds.